Hello, min-maxing tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 Dawn of Souls Mod of Balance with me, BlueAnkylo. So the start of today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about some equipment stuff, because I started looking it up on the actual mod webpage, because I was getting kind of annoyed by not knowing what protections, what equipment was protecting you from. So I looked it up, and I think I've got pretty up-to-date info now. And then we're going to head into the water shrine, and it might be a long episode because I'd like to get all the way down to fight Shinru today. Or Shinru, no, not Shenru, that's a YouTuber, it's Shinru, I believe. Anyway, so, first off, for items, I spent as much money as I could, basically. I don't have a lot of spare cash, but I was able to get a couple dry ethers for emergency boss fights, as well as those elixirs we got from our little mini grind last episode. And lots of the usual stuff. And I picked up some magic for Melior. I decided to go with Flare because we may as well have the highest damage spell. Full life because during super boss fights you need a way to do this. It would have really helped against Omega Weapon, pretty sure. And then Dispel because I want to try it out. I don't know if it's going to be great, but I decided to go for spell selection over stacking both mages having X-Zone, which might work really well at high levels as your intelligence gets really crazy. Anyway, so that's kind of the magic situation. I haven't changed anything else. I just picked up a couple really good spells and something to try. And I don't know. Destroy is pretty... Like, there's a lot of good level 8 magic. That's the trouble, right? As you probably should expect. Okay, so first off, we're going to talk a little bit about equipment. I did spend some money buying some alternate gear from the... what's his name, the caravan dude, because he sells pretty good stuff. I haven't looked into weapons yet because our weapons are fine for now, but I did look into equipment options for our 4 classes. So I'm going to talk about Knight, Ranger, Battle Mage, Sage. The other 8 classes have different gearing late game because I don't know what they can equip. But for the Knight, let's start with body armor. So we've been using the mirror plate, which is technically one of the... I think it's technically the highest physical defense the Knight can equip. I didn't write the numbers down, but it looks like it's probably the highest base defense. But the mirror plate only provides status protection for lightning, death, stone, and blind. Now, keep in mind that in Final Fantasy 1, especially in the mod, I don't believe that's immunity. It's just resistance. I think that probably adds some number to the dice roll to protect you from those. So if someone's trying to cast death magic on you and you resist death, you probably get an extra chance to not be killed immediately. Which is better than not having it, but it's not going to be immunity, kind of like the NES Final Fantasy 1. Okay, so the reason I'm going to switch to Genji Armor is, although we're going to lose 3 defense, we're going to gain a lot of agility. It's got some good passive stats. And Genji Armor gives you protection from Quake, Time, and Poison. And Time is a very hard status to resist. There's only, I think only, in the mod at least, only 2 or 3 maybe equipment that resists Time. It's very rare. So that's what we're going to do for the Knight. In fact, he's going to have all Genji, essentially. That's spoiler alert. The Crystal Mail was the other option, and it provides Mind, Silence, and Blind protection, which is nice, but not that important. I would still suggest that Fire, Ice, and Lightning are the primary elements you want to resist, because that includes taking half damage. Now, in this mod, I believe if you can resist Quake or Poison, which usually would be status effects, that might apply half damage to Scourge and Quake. Maybe. I mean, probably. It should. Anyway, so those are kind of your options. Dragon Mail, which is currently equipped over here, is Fire, Ice, Lightning protection like I thought, so that has not changed. But the way Genji Armor works, I believe, I think, if you add up all the slots as Genji Armor, you will have full status immunity, or very nearly to it. Okay, for gloves, the Diamond Gloves were kind of bad anyway, so I wanted to upgrade to Genji Gloves anyway. Like, this is just better. The Diamond Gloves should protect you from lightning, but the Genji Gloves will do Ice and Stone. So add that to the current Quake, Time, Poison, as well as Ice and Stone kind of thing. For the helmet, the Crystal Helm is good. The Crystal Helmet is technically Fire, Ice, and Lightning. So that was how our Knight was previously resistant to the main damage spells. Totally by fluke, I didn't know that or anything. Crystal Helm's one of those pieces I probably never got in unmodded Dawn of Souls, but anyway, it's good stuff. Really good gear, but my current full Genji build will be better. So the Genji Helm instead will be Lightning, Death, and Sleep. So now we've got gloves for ice, helmet for lightning, and then a ton of statuses as well. And then finally the shield. The Aegis shield is technically higher statted in terms of defense and evasion. So, you know, we gained a bit of evasion going to the Genji Armor. We're losing a little bit going here. Overall, it balances out to be pretty similar. But the Genji shield gives us fire, dark, and paralyze resistance. So we're finally, hopefully, not going to see Victus get stun locked where he suddenly takes double damage or whatever it is. So that should provide him amazing status protection. Now, if by some chance you killed one of those black dragons and you got your hands on a hero shield, Victus could equip it, and that just gives him all status protection, which at that point you can equip whatever you want. But the hero shield sort of is it's just as overpowered as it was in Dawn of Souls. So that's it, fairly easy. So I'll speed through berets a little bit quicker for the ranger. Let me just scroll down a little bit so I can see. So he can use, I'll start with the armor again. He can use Crystal Mail, Dragon Mail, and technically Gaia Gear was the other useful option, which I think I sold technically, but it's actually not too big of a defense drop if you want to go from Dragon to Gaia, which might have been a good idea. So Dragon is nice because Fire, Ice, Lightning. Crystal is also good in the terms of statuses. Crystal Mail gives you Mind, Silence, and Blind, but I primarily want to see Fire, Ice, and Lightning. The gloves, unfortunately, Rangers don't get any, like, end-game gloves. Diamond gloves is as good as it gets, and that's just lightning, which is kind of double-tipped here, but there's nothing I can do about it, really. He can equip, I bought this sort of accidentally, because I was thinking the Twist Headband might be worth it, which does provide some nice stat buffs and pretty good defense, but it has no status protection at all. And we talked about the Crystal Helm, which was nice, but it would be doubling up with the Dragon Mail. So if you want to go Crystal Mail, that would be the combo. You'd want all Crystal. The problem is the Ranger can't equip the Crystal Gloves, so you wouldn't get full status protection because you would miss something here. The helmet gives you the elements, the armor gives you some of the statuses, and the Crystal Shield. Did I just mention that one? Poison, yeah, so that's Poison, Death, and then Mind, Silence, Blind. So it's most of them, but I'm pretty sure the gloves covered the rest. So unfortunately, I decided not to go that route, even though it's technically the better set overall if you could get Crystal Gloves, or Crystal Ring, or whatever it's called. But I think that modders, if you're watching, you should probably give that to the Ranger, just so he's got a full end-game set for gloves. I don't think that would be overpowered. Just give him the Crystal for his gloves. Anyway, so instead, we're actually going to use the ribbon. I mean, I'm looking at the defense difference here, and I'm not impressed. The ribbon does give you full status protection, except they nerfed it. I knew they nerfed it. I had a feeling. The ribbon no longer gives fire, ice, or lightning, or time protection, but does provide status protection, or if not immunity, but status protection from all other elements, or other ailments. So a combo of Dragon Mail Ribbon is pretty much everything except time. And then the shield didn't include time, so the shield is just extra. We're just equipping whatever gives him the best defense, and I think the Crystal Shield's as good as the Ranger can do, basically. I guess technically if I had a Protect Cloak, which I think I sold everything, but he could equip a Protect Cloak, which would lower his defense, but that would give him time protection. So that would be a good option. In fact, if I had a Protect Cloak, I might have gone Crystal. I think that would cover some of the other weaknesses we were missing. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what we're going to go with. We'll speed up a little bit up again with the Battle Mage. Technically, his best set is Genji. Genji. I just didn't have the money to buy it. So if we get enough money, I'll give him a full set of Genji gear, and he'll look just like Victus. Because he can wear the same stuff the Knight can wear for some reason. And it's better than the Ranger. So he could have basically 100 defense and all status immunity. I just didn't have the stuff on hand, or the money on hand. So, again, he can equip for armor. Dragon Mail's pretty good. Genji Mail is better, and the Gaia Gear is okay. We talked. Gaia Gear gives you Ice, Lightning, Quake, Stone, Paralyze, so it's pretty good. Ice and Lightning, it's 2 of the 3 damage elements, and hopefully you can find fire somewhere else, like a Genji shield, which would have fire, for instance. But anyway, we talked about Aegis. The red cap is probably a mistake at the moment. Well, see, the red cap's not bad. It has Stone, Paralyzed Mind, and Silence. But again, I'm kind of doing the same as the Ranger combo, where those 2 provide all elements except time, and then the rest are just extra. Which does mean I can equip something else in his glove slot. I just don't have a lot of good options. There's a crystal ring that would be really nice, and of course the Genji gloves, which is what I would like to buy him. But yeah, Dragon for Ice, Fire, Lightning, and then Ribbon for everything else. And the shield and the gloves can be whatever for now. I don't want to equip the Giant's gloves because I like to use them on the Knight, unless I got a spare. But I guess I'll equip the Diamond glove because the Protect Ring, although the Protect Ring is pretty good, it gives you Death, Paralyze, and Sleep protection. That's covered by the Ribbon and it doesn't stack, so that doesn't really matter. So the only thing he's missing is Time and... if I had a Genji Armor, if I could switch it around, the Genji Armor can provide time protection. But not very many enemies cast Stop, except certain really bad enemies, like probably Chaos. And then finally, the Melior, the one and only Melior. He's got less options, of course, because he's the caster. The Elven Cloak is no statuses, but better stats. He might be better off with the Protect Cloak, because it has Death, Sleep, and Time is hard to get. The Light Robe is good, but the Gaia Gear is better. Maybe I never got the Gaia Gear. Did I miss? I thought I had the Gaia Gear at some point, and maybe I just sold it. That would be sad. I mean, that's the way it goes when I don't know what to use. I should have looked these up a long time ago. The Light Robe did give him Intelligence, though, so that's got its own bonus, basically. But yeah, the White Robe gives him... Or sorry... There was no Light Robe. How did he equip this? Wait a second. I didn't write down Light Robe. I wrote down White Robe. Just 1 second, guys. Let me just double check. I just want to be accurate. I want to be thorough. Sage 3.0, refresh, armor. It doesn't even say that he's allowed to equip the Light Robe. So that's... Maybe this is not a 100% 100% accurate. I'm just going off of the website. It's got a little spreadsheet, basically. So, the Light Robe, is it even on here? Minerva, Brigandine, Power, Red, Black, White. No, the Light Robe is different. Oh, there it is, there it is. So, the Light Robe, although he's not apparently supposed to be able to equip it, according to the guide, it provides Fire, Death, Paralysis, Blind, Dark, Poisoned, and Mind protection. So, it's really good, and 5 Intelligence. So... Seeing as he can equip that, that's probably better than the Gaia Gear and all that other stuff anyway. So that's fine. It's just weird that my guy didn't say he could equip it, so I didn't write it down. Anyway, yeah, that one's good. Like I said, if you wanted time, I can't remember if I said Death and Sleep on that list, but whatever. Technically, a ribbon might not have been a bad idea for him. Although, could he even equip those? I think the answer was yes. Yeah, I could have given him a ribbon by the same token. But he does get a lot of value out of the Sage's Mitre, and in fact, it has a secret bonus that I didn't know. So, let me just save it just so I don't have to mess around with ins. But look at his maximum MP. Bam, 20% difference. The Wizard's Hat, or whatever it was called, it also gave him, like, 10% more max HP, or MP. So that's actually, like, amazingly good. So I think that beats out a ribbon unless you really can't get status protection. And then the Angel's Ring also gives him no status protection. So he's actually the weakest stat protection-wise, and that's why I was thinking giving him the Protection Cloak for guaranteed death and time protection, and then the Light is kind of the only thing giving him a decent set. But it won't be Fire, Ice, Lightning, so and I guess it's fair, but he really has to lean on his magic resistance, which is really high, like it's double almost anybody else. So hopefully that's high enough as we get later in the game that instead of focusing on status protections, which is really important for Victus and Beret, he can just rely on his natural magic protection. Anyway, that's it. So I'm going to, at some point, try to finish up Jade's equipment. Beret's is basically done. There's not much else I can tweak. And Melior's is basically done as well. So Well, that's assuming you want Angel's Ring. Oh, I was going to get an Angel's Ring for Jade, and I forgot. So I'm sorry, guys. I was going to give him extra regeneration. And that probably would have been a good idea in this combination. If I need to, I'll do it later. For now, I spent wisely 15 minutes discussing some cool, important mod stuff with you guys. So let's get going here. We're going to try to blast through this dungeon kind of quick. We've already done it once. It's hard to say if we're taking half damage from Scourge, but theoretically, maybe. Anyway, we've done our level grinding section. I mean, I can always use more money, but otherwise, I don't want to spend terribly long. So we'll be going on super speed fairly regularly. I'll be trying to remember my way out of these terrible mazes. There we go. And we'll try to get to the other super boss today. So I thought, while we're recovering the same area we've already done once before, I thought this might be a good idea to talk about my overall feelings for this party composition, and maybe a start of a review for the mod of the balance. Nothing like serious or anything. We're not doing like a 10-page essay, book report on the mod. But yeah, so party composition. So first off, Victus is pretty good. I don't dislike knights. Oh dang it, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take my focus. Silver, white, red, 2 whites. Alright, that's not too bad. I'm still gonna put a save down because blacks will ruin my day. So was I saying? So talking about knights. I do think in the long run, Victus gets better offensive stats than a Paladin by a small margin. Like, he gets more strength and maybe slightly better stamina and agility overall. So if you're comparing the two, like, front row heavy-duty characters, the Knight and the Paladin, I do believe Victus is slightly more physical focused, which makes sense because he gets no magic. But he also loses some equipment as a part of that trade-off. And some of that equipment is really good. The Holy Helm and a couple other things are really good for the Paladin. A spare Lightbringer, that's worth a lot of money. That'll help me buy Genji equipment. So overall, I actually think the Knights are not a great pick because they lack versatility with spellcasting. A Paladin will learn all the way... This is going to hurt. A Paladin will learn all the way up to level 6 magic, just like the Ranger. Fairly similar spell selection as well, although maybe just white rather than some black. So that's something to consider if you're planning on building a party and playing along later on. Victus, or the Knight specifically, not picking on Victus, is good, and he makes a fine front row. Like, as far as this playthrough's gone, he's done his job just fine. Like, we haven't had any big problems with him. He generally has good stats, but not great resistances and no magic. The Paladin will have better magic defense, and that helps out a lot. So the Paladin resisting those stun effects early on definitely would have helped. Whereas Victus was fine until he got put to sleep or paralyzed, and then his defensiveness kind of tanked. So that's kind of my opinion. Like, he's good on paper, but once you throw in some spell effects that he has a hard time resisting, maybe take some higher magic damage overall, and lacks a couple key equipment. Like if I'd given him a full Genji set earlier, because we could have afforded that. That's gonna hurt. But yeah, you saw he took the most damage, of course, from Holy. Non-elemental, there's not much we can do to defend other than magic resistance. Double whammy of Holy, wow. Holy whammy. Holy moly! But yeah, so he might even die if it Holies again, right? Like, that's when we get into trouble, is he dies because he can't stand the magic the magic damage. I think if I was rebalancing the Knight, I would probably give him more HP. I would specifically make sure he gets the highest HP total by a larger margin. If the average at level 51 is like 700 for fighter mages, he should be like 1,000 by now. And if he had, you know, a good 20% higher HP on average, then he could survive those spells like the front row tank you want him to be. Because what else can he do besides tank? And that's about it, right? He doesn't have any real support abilities, so he's got to be able to take damage and survive. So that's what he needs, in my opinion. But overall, a good character. I don't regret Victus in this party. I think a Paladin would have been better, but I already ran a Paladin, so I was testing out a Knight. Okay, so we rambled about him while we killed dragons. That's fair. Who's the next one? Ranger. So, Beret, the Ranger, is definitely your stereotypical red mage as far as Final Fantasy 1 is concerned. He's got a lot of spells and a reasonable amount of equipment. Just like the Red Wizard, he doesn't really get a ton of full-on... That's going to kill somebody. Of course it's Victus. Why not? He doesn't get a full set of... I guess, like, Beret the Red Mage, or not Red Mage, he's the Ranger rather than the Mage. But he has the same problem that the Red Wizard did in terms of he didn't get great equipment late game, and he has the same problem where I can't really get his armor up very high. His weapon selection's fine, I guess, with Lightbringer and all that, but a little bit short on... I think I wanted to try... Sorry, I was like doing two things. I want to try paralyzing this guy, because it's going to take a couple turns to kill him. He's going to kill somebody else here. Yeah, there's not much we can do about Destroy unless we really just cheat our way up. We'd have to basically stun this guy. And if he uses his Mega Flare, we're basically dead. So this is still a really annoying fight. I could try just a straight stun. I don't know. Yeah, that's the one that's going to kill everybody. How much damage do we see from this? I actually didn't do as much damage as I expected. Okay. There, we got the stun off. We're pretty much safe now. As long as we can kill him next turn, which is theoretically going to happen. And we're fine. Alright, so what else was I going to say about Ranger? Overall, a little bit lackluster. Not a bad class, but you can see his stats. They're all pretty average. His damage has never been really high enough to be your front, like your big damage dealer. I think there's something to do with like weapon proficiency behind the scenes, because he's equipped with the same weapon. It's not like he's got a different, weaker weapon. He's got the same thing exactly, and it's 40 points of damage different, which is crazy. They don't have that much strength difference. It used to be strength divided by 2 for damage, for plus damage, so a 27-point strength spread should be 14 damage less, but instead of 14 damage, it's 47. So that's, I don't know exactly what's causing that, but that's what stops him from being able to hit things very hard. And he hasn't really resisted magic very well. Like, he doesn't get that mage protection of, like the Red Wizard tended to have for high magic defense. In the Dawn of Souls, generally, a Red Wizard had, I believe, pretty much the same resistance as the mages. So if he had over 200 magic resistance, maybe I would be less complaining because he wouldn't be getting stunned and all that. In fact, basically, if I was going to rebalance the Ranger, that's what I would give him. A lot more magic resistance. Let him be the support caster that just brings people back up, buffs them. He's never going to do a ton of magic damage or anything, but he can learn a lot of spells, and if he doesn't get paralyzed, like your fighter gets paralyzed, then he can focus on bringing other people back up. So he can stay with lower defense and weaker equipment overall. He just needs to not he needs to not get status affected so easily. Alright, so where do we have to go to fight? So Pink Mermaid to the north. Okay, we got to go through this chain of events for Gilgamesh again. Hopefully it won't be as long as last time. This is looking to be very similar to the last run through. I promise you it's supposed to be randomized, unless the mod made it always the long run. Diagonal roll of pillars, alright. I guess we're getting exactly the same situation. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Ranger. I don't regret, again, I don't regret taking anybody specifically. I think he's not a great addition to, like, he doesn't add a whole lot to our current party composition. Where was I supposed to go? Big room, pink. I thought I already talked to that one. Isn't that where we started? Sheesh. I think the party would probably be stronger with a different character than a ranger. Please get out of the way, mermaids. That's basically my problem with the rangers. I'm not sure exactly what he adds. I'd rather have like a dedicated white mage, or another dedicated red mage, or another dedicated damage dealer like a paladin or a fighter that just hits really hard. That was the junk one, right? I hope. I wasn't really paying attention. Nope. Gotta go talk to her again because I didn't read. Talking to you guys. So yeah, so basically Ranger, definitely not a great addition in terms of overall power. Oh, the diagonal. Alright, all the way back up to the diagonal pillars. I feel like if I don't pay attention, we're just gonna go round and round in circles here forever. Alright, big halberd. Ultimate sword, alright. Oh, no, now, in fact, we just go out, so it's not even go back to that room. The ending of this scenario is slightly different. So this should be unlocked now, and we'll fight... Okay, we just had to talk to her. So anyway, yeah, that was kind of my main thinking for the Ranger. A good utility class. There we go. But doesn't bring a lot to the party comp. I think a lot of other classes add more value than a Ranger. He's kind of like the Red Wizard in the terms of he just fills in and helps, but doesn't do a whole lot extra. Doesn't do much more than just help. Like, what do I do with him most of the time? I just cast buffs and stuff, which are nice, but that's... Lots of people can cast buffs. I guess if you wanted to also balance him, you might make... I would hate it, but if you made haste or enchant, like, Ranger only, like one of those spells, so he had a unique buffing spell, that would change things enough to make him pretty helpful. Alright, so... Gilgamesh is actually one of the main reasons I picked up this spell, is I wanted to see if this will negate his protect and stuff that we get later on. But I'm going to try mute before he can cast anti-magic. Just in case it works. It worked! Well, that's going to make this fight a lot easier than last time. Sweet! So now all he can do is attack, and if he casts a spell, it's wasted. So that's great. Not much else to do then, just heal up a bit and buff up, and he doesn't even get his protect spell. So Victus should make fairly short work of this guy. I guess one thing you could do in the mod of balance that I haven't really ever attempted is you could change your equipment mid-battle to focus on a specific I want to deal max damage kind of thing. I haven't really ever thought of like switching it out like that mid-battle, but it's not probably a terrible idea. I just, you know, I haven't been pushed hard enough that I've had to use things like that. Let's try... Geez, I don't even need them. Just play him, I guess. I was prepared to dispel his nasty spells, but I didn't have to do that. Oh, he has an ability, Wind Slash. Well, honestly, I think he's basically dead, because if he can't cast magic... I guess, you know, if you really want to punish him, you'd try to, well, slowing him or stunning him would make this really a joke. If that... Yeah, we've got him stunned and silenced. That's just brutal. I'm sorry, Gilgamesh. I disrespected you, sir. Alright. Anyway, we killed him. We got another Excalibur. It's basically just money at this point. And then I'll go back to my generally good stat equipment. That's not the worst idea. Okay, so Beret overall was... We talked about him. Next up will be the Battle Mage, Jade. I kind of think Jade is broken. Even looking at the spreadsheet of what a Battle Mage should be able to equip, they've got more than they probably should be allowed to. So I think they can equip more items than they're supposed to, which basically puts them at pretty overpowered statuses, just because they have so much weapons and equipment selection that if that's what they were designed to have, it's kind of not fair. The fact that Jade has better equipment as a mostly black mage over the support ranger, like, I mean, look at their stats, right? Like, Jade does have better magic resistance, slightly better intelligence. I guess it's a pretty jack-of-all-trades in terms of stats, but, you know, lower agility, a higher magic resistance. It's still more of a mage character than the ranger, but he has better weapon and armor selection, and all the way to level 8 magic, right? Like, anyone that gets level 8 magic is still primarily a mage, right? Like, you can't argue with that too much, I don't think. Because the ranger only gets level 6 magic, it's like, you're still a somewhat melee-focused class. A paladin only gets level 6 magic, so it can't be that far off. Anyway, so yeah, I guess like what I mean is like a paladin, way better than the ranger for equipment selection, stats, and spells. And then the battle mage is kind of like the paladin, really. which is interesting. So, in fact, I would say the Battle Mage's closest associate would be the Paladin. The Paladin would be your what am I trying to say? Your white magic focused front row power character, and the Battle Mage would be your black magic focused equipment focused like powerful character. I still don't think well, not as good. Like the Paladin would have attack power closer to the Knight. So you still have a bit of a hard time using Jade as your damage dealer in a big battle, but you'd certainly have a better time with Jade than with a Ranger. Basically, a Battle Mage would beat the Ranger in pretty much anything the Ranger can do, other than some white magic buffs. So I feel like probably the Battle Mage is fairly overpowered. His weakness is that he doesn't get as high intelligence as the pure casters. His other black magic form, I forget the name, but the other like pure black mage that doesn't get all the weapon and armor, that works out more like a black wizard. He probably gets stats closer to Melior's in terms of intelligence, but without all that overpowered weapons and armor, and probably quicker levels of quicker access to his magic. I'm pretty sure the Battle Mage learns new tiers of black magic a little bit slower than his alternate. So I'm hard pressed to say which one I like better. They're both really good, and I don't think either would be a bad addition to any party because they're so versatile in terms of black magic's really good, and especially now that I'm learning more about the status ailments, having a good black mage with really high intelligence that can cast all this slow, blind, stun, stop, all those spells, like that seems really good in this game. So it's hard not to say that they're a great value. That's kind of why I put the Ranger a little bit lower, is he doesn't have that status infliction ability. He doesn't, there's nothing he's really good at, so I'm not sure where he fits in. We're gonna need to use some ethers here because I've been burning a lot of magic just rushing through this dungeon. Last time we fought this fight went a little bit bad, so we'll see what happens. He was doing a lot of comets last time, and they were really doing a lot of damage one-shotting people. So let's try to get our HP up right away. There's not a lot we can do, I don't think, to negate that damage. Like, I think Comet is non-elemental, probably. Maybe it counts as earth damage, but I would not bet on that. So let's just try to get everyone to buff their HP. Hopefully he doesn't start killing people on turn 1. But I have full life this time, so it'll be a lot easier to get people, well, 1,000 damage, right? Good start. It'll be a lot easier to full heal people back up into safety range, so they don't just get killed by some weak spell. So this should go easier than, or better than last time, hopefully. It'd be nice to have 2 people with full life. That'd be great. In fact, my ultimate party might have that if I was really... We're not in a great scenario here, I gotta say, getting someone murdered every turn. I think this is the same thing as it happened last time, though, so the difference is we can bring them back up quicker with full life. If Melior gets killed... Oh, good. And then we get killed by instant death. Now, I'm pretty sure if Wormhole counts as any element at all, Victus is supposed to be resistant to it, so just... He got bad luck, and it wasn't good. He didn't get enough luck to survive the stat. Whatever the percentages is, he didn't get it. So that's too bad. Now, Jade is probably high enough HP that if we heal him, he's not going to instantly die. So I'll have him do the Phoenix down. And Melior really needs to get his HP high enough. Although, he has a better chance of surviving anyway due to the magic resistance. And Comet on Beret. He survived! Alright, now I think the low magic defense characters specifically should stack this up a little bit higher. If my understanding is correct. They need to go a little bit further. And Jade... Why don't you try to throw on... Oh, I don't have a Lightbringer on hand. I must have sold my spare... No, I equipped them both. It's fine. Oh, no, never mind. It's right here. If I put anti-death on, it might help the wormhole. That's sensible, at least. We gotta start healing up here. And the Heliga is healing for more, now that we're even higher levels for higher intelligence. Alright, so again, I'm not 100% sure if this will matter, but I'll put Null Blaze on in case he uses that spell. I don't remember him casting Farraga very often, but it's possible that this will help, although, like I said, I'm pretty sure they don't stack, so it's probably not going to do anything. Other than that, it's time to start talking about maybe killing this guy. It'd be nice to kill this guy. Start buffing up for damage, assuming the Victus can stay up. We got to keep him alive so he can get buffed up, basically. He still will be killed by a comet right now. That's not good. No, I didn't mean do that. That's not what I meant. Alright, oh, you have some magic to heal. I don't know how good it is. Oh, I actually got rid of most of his healing magic. Just cast Cura on yourself. Let's see if that does anything. I don't know. I'm tempted to try putting some effects on Atomos. If you got lucky, we might manage to get one to trigger. 1400 every time. I swear, every time he casts that spell, it gets a little bit stronger. All right, hopefully Victus is high enough level or high enough HP that he can survive a comet. I'd like to start doing some damage on this fight on this boss. We're getting slowed down very significantly by the constant death. Anyway, full life certainly nice to have. Victus has been buffed a bit. That didn't do very much damage, so that's good. I think actually maybe they changed it so equipment, elemental protection, and Null Blaze do stack, because that seems slightly different than the old way to me. Because I think he did like 400 damage to everyone the first time, and then like 100 to 200 the second time. Maybe. I don't know. Let's put death protection back up, and I will enchant, and I will go for like one attempt at mute, because that would make this so much easier. Don't die. Oh yeah, look at that. 400 damage, no problem. Whoa, what? Are we at a level where we no longer, like, is Melior just so friggin' smart that he can just apply whatever status effects he wants on bosses? Because that's nuts. Atomos, a magic casting boss. Like 2 for 2. Muted and paralyzed. Well, I mean, that makes this a lot easier. I mean, I was doing a lot of buffing and protection when maybe I should have just been going for mute. Because once he's paralyzed and muted, I mean, like, what is it? Can't do anything. When we just slow him as well, just to add insult to injury. There's nothing else we could even really do that would matter here. Let's just, I don't know, make everyone do a little bit more damage. Why not? He's dead. I'm sure he's dead. Yeah. Alright, well, there you go. That's a better way to kill Atomos. I wouldn't be too surprised if, yeah, you can't equip that light robe. It's too powerful. I wouldn't be too surprised if a recent version of the mod changed, like, it probably was like a recent patch that added your intellect modifier to increasing your status infliction chance. And maybe it's at the point where if you've got high intellect, you just bypass their magic defense basically, because your status infliction spells suddenly have a good chance, even though the enemies have stupidly high met. Like, that's the kind of thing I wouldn't be surprised to see in a balanced patch. Just give these magic casting bosses. I mean, okay, hold on. I didn't even look at what I meant to look at there. Is he specifically strong to mind? Yeah. So he should be resistant to stuff like, maybe not paralyze, but certainly mute, because they had to know in designing Atomos, a spell-casting boss that doesn't even attack, really, that he needs to cast his spells or else he can't do anything. So if you can just easily mute him, so that's a good day, basically. You're having fun. You're having fun is what you're doing when that happens. Alright, well, that's 10 floors in. We're only 40 minutes into the episode. Whatever. Today's going to be a super long episode. It's fine once in a while. I don't hate long episodes. I just try to keep them sensible. Alright. Oh good, my favorite floor. I basically have to turn auto run off or we just kill ourselves. So yeah, I'm not gonna go get all the treasures. It's possible there's amazing equipment to be found, but just like last time, I'm lazy. And we are going to just get through here as quickly as possible without falling to our death, which is why I put a save in. And I should remember the path through. I've probably done this maze like 20 times by now. Like, really, not even joking. It's probably something like that. Now, I've probably gotten all the treasure more often than just bypassed all the treasure. But, getting all the treasure still takes way longer. If I knew for sure, like if I was comfortable, I would know that there's no more deviations, and then you can just hold forward and go a lot quicker. But anyway, that one's done. Level 13. Alright, so this one, where do we go? How come Victus got slowed? Well, I know why, but he's supposed to be resistant to stuff like that. I gave him all the Genji Armor. I do think that is his biggest weakness, is magic, which is fair. He's a very non-magical character. But, like, the Thief is also non-magical, so I don't know what his... Like, he'll have, like, assumedly less HP and defense than the Fighter. The Fighter's thing needs to be high HP and high defense. That's what I want to see. Let's do a couple Thundagas on the Killer Sharks. I know they're actually kind of dangerous, so... like, they do a ton of damage. Endgame armor, we're still taking 400 damage per hit. Hey, Melior, look at that evasion. It is also possible, like, I don't know how exactly the math works, but it's possible at some point having an extra 20 evasion is better than 10 defense. Like, I don't know. I don't know the breakpoints for that kind of stuff. Especially with the nerf to combat status buffs or stat buffs, like, you know, evasion and blink and all that. Alright, we got ourselves a non-combat floor to zip through. These are particularly annoying if you don't have frame skip, but frame skip makes everything better, right? This floor, we gotta go to the top right, I think. Hey, Mithril Golems. I don't know if we fought one of these yet. Let's try Flare. He's probably dead by the time we get to Flare. Yeah, alright, alright. I don't think we've actually ever fought one of those, so maybe we'll look up their stats. Maybe they drop something super awesome. Like a Mithril Sword. That's a joke. Have we fought one of these puppies? Of course not. Holy Armor. Oh, that actually is pretty good. I bet you only the Paladin can equip it. But nice to know anyway. You can probably sell it for a ton of money if you want to buy Genji Armor for your Battle Mage. Hey, Blue. Ashura. Ooh. Probably terrible, but there it is. Half as good as a Mazmune, or less. No, that's the kind of weapon you get from the Earth bonus dungeon, and it's only good, like, before you promote your Thief in the original game, so I wouldn't expect it to be very good in this one. Like, forgotten where to go on this floor. Is it just the bottom left, like always? Nope. Bottom right, maybe, then. I mean, I'm sure I did this, like, 2 episodes ago. Way quicker. At least the encounters aren't too bad. There it is. I just made a wrong turn. Okay, now, where are we? Is this the exit over here? Maybe. I'll get the treasure first. Hey, Giant's Tonic. The game knows what I want. And we get that victory music. Blood pumping chant. All those stats. I hope you guys aren't mad that I, like, skip over the end of, or leveling up stat part, because, like, I feel like I got better things to do with my life than to comment on every +1 intelligence you get. I like to know that they're going up, but that's good enough. How are we doing for HP, though? Not good. I notice that Victus is very much dead. How is Melior overall? 75 intelligence. I feel like 5s and 10s, multiples of 5s and 10s, are more important for a lot of spells. I think each spell might have its own formula for your intellect buff, is my hunch. Seeing as I've noticed different intervals for nuke than other spells, basically. But essentially, at different breakpoints, I believe spells kind of get an extra kind of multiplier of some sort applied to them. Be interesting to really do all the research and stuff. Like that's that mathy computer science kind of stuff that's most people just roll their eyes at. But I kind of think it's right here, up, down, up. There's only like one more direction. There we go. All right, floor 17. We're actually making pretty good time, which is all about to stop once we get to floor 20. I'm gonna fight something stronger than Omega. Top right. Yes! Process of elimination. We already did all the other castle-y looking 419. This one's right and down. Yes, but down and then left after that. No. Sage's surplus. We got another one of those. Oh, prototypes. I like to kill these things because they're... Well, these guys come with war mechs, right? You guys remember, I hope. I just wanted to see if these guys are as bad as they were vanilla. Yeah, they still hit really hard. It was the physical attack that was the most threatening. So I just wanted to make sure they still hit as hard as they used to. Also, they dropped an extra light robe there, I'm pretty sure. The same thing you get for killing Atmos. If you had a lot of mages, this would be really good to have a bunch of spares. Not that they do anything on use, but just, I think they might be overall the best mage armor. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think there's anything that can compete in this version. We don't have access to Robe of Lords or some of the other later white magic late end game armors they added in Final Fantasy series. Boom, 1,000. When you're doing over 1,000 damage with a Diaga, that's pretty good. Okay, everybody, are you ready to rock and roll? Because this is the one, possibly the hardest optional boss we're going to have to deal with. It's nice to see our MP getting so high, because it means I can spam spells to my heart's content at long last. I am going to save it, and I'm going to save state it. Now, I don't think we ever wiped on Omega, but I was pretty worried for a while. Let's do it. I am that which follows Omega. It's the Elder Dragon of Final Fantasy V. So, I don't think there's any other choice but to buff up our HP max. It's going to be the same logic as when we were dealing with Omega. This guy's going to have spells that just do too much damage. And he starts with Nuke. And we survived it, so that is actually a really good sign. Technically, we can survive one nuking. Now, if he does nuke again, we're dead, and there's nothing we can do about it at this point in the game. But it is good to know that we can, at base level, survive one of those. We definitely need our HP high enough to regularly survive 2, because worst case scenario, he does 2 in a row, and I don't get any Heligas in between. So you have to be able to survive that. And it just does so much damage that I don't think levels could ever get you high enough. Like, that's unfortunate for Victus, but not terribly unexpected for that to happen now and then. I'm pretty sure we're high enough that we can survive. We're so high. I'm pretty sure we're high enough that we can survive one more nuke. So I'm going to continue buffing HP, and I really do want, especially Melior's, so I like people casting it on themselves so it's not wasted. But Melior is going to be busy doing full life for a while, probably. Glad we survived. And especially the higher his max HP with the regen goes, like, that's really quite valuable. Alright. So this is just going to take a little while. I think at least I have a strategy that should work right at the beginning this time. I feel like you're probably going to die, so if you survive, just buff Melior. Buff Melior, because he's got to heal. He doesn't have time to buff himself. He's too busy casting Heliga. So, Shinru does have a very powerful physical attack, so at some point, we will also want to buff our protection, because, or like our physical defense, that is, because we don't want to get killed by a crit. But it's the nuke that's the big problem. I was thinking he was going to do his tsunami type attack, but it's just plain old nuke in this version. If you're playing on Final Fantasy V, I don't think it's flare or nuke. It's he's got a special attack, basically, kind of like Omega's laser beams. But I think we're probably past the most dangerous part now. It does mean a fair bit of buffing, but we're just gonna... I'm gonna get... I think we're probably safe, but I'm gonna overdo it a little bit. I'd like to get Melior to about 2,000 HP, because if I do get double flared, like, I'm seeing some 700s and stuff in there, and I want to make sure... Because once I start putting on buffs, you lose them all when somebody dies, and that sucks. I don't want to lose all this progress. If I put on haste and temper and all that stuff, it's just, we're really not making any progress if we're losing all that. So at least the kind of the reason this strategy works is you keep your maximum HP and MP if you die. I wasn't looking and I lost my cursor. What did he do? Did he attack Victus? I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention. Great Let's Play. I don't even watch the screen when I play. I just talk about the game and let somebody else play it for me on autopilot. Alright, so we're pretty much at the point of... I don't think we're going to get killed easily. Yeah, like if he casts Nuke again next turn, we should be fine. And that's almost everybody at 2,000-ish. So we're going to have Victus start buffing himself. Because I want him to spend a couple turns on the Giant's Glove. And then the rest of the team are going to get the normal buffs up. Like no death, just in case he's got some sort of death attack. And let's get a little bit of like Vanish and Protect on and all that. Typical. Yeah, if he's hitting for like over 500 damage, that's still enough to scare me a bit. Alright, so Victus, you just focus on hitting hard. Beret's gonna do a little bit of protection. Jade's gonna keep working on his version of protection. Melior... he doesn't have those spells, but he has a white robe that he can use. Oh, he's got Thunderbolt! I should have remembered that one. That was my forgetting. So that's 3 protects and 2 invis, I believe. Not that I'm counting or anything. Let's put on Null Shock, because he definitely has Thunderbolt, of course. And, thinking like one more Vanish. Maybe do some healing this turn. I should, you know, again, I should be... I'm so not confident in status effects that I hate risking early turns putting status effects on him. But maybe just like Atomos, maybe this would have been a lot easier if I just started with... Well, Mute won't work on this one, because none of his abilities are spells. They're all, like, all of his attacks are abilities. But if I could get him blind or stunned especially, that would actually make things a fair bit easier. Alright, one more round of Protect and Vanish, and I will try... I mean, geez, stun would be so good if we could get that on him. I worry about wasting Melior's turn. We got him! That's gonna make things a lot easier. Alright, one more turn of buffs. Now we're switched to offensive buffs. One more Giant's Glove. We should be very nearly maxed out on what the Giant's Glove can do. And, sheesh, with him, I guess it'd be nice to get him blind as well. I don't know if they stack for, like, defense reduction. Like, stun, you take extra damage, but blind does the same thing, so does that stack? That would be crazy. Also, the advantage is blind doesn't wear off, I believe. Once you're blind forever. Missed on the blind. Well, that's fair. Alright, so he's managed to break off. I don't think we ever hasted Victus, so I forgot about that. Let's enchant him, and we'll go for... I'll let Meliar go for a blind. The stun would be way better, but I feel like that's cheating. Like, that's too much. 200 damage, not bad. And he doesn't regenerate like Omega did, so it's not even that bad. Alright, Victus is probably fully buffed. We are probably fully buffed in terms of like physical protections, or at least very close to it. I'll try another stun though, because that's really handy. Stun again. Wow, I am stunned. That's the truth. All right, well, I don't know what else. This is the point where I don't know what else to do with Beret. I mean, I guess I can get the other elemental protections on just in case. And then what else do we do? I mean, we go for stuns, we go for statuses. I think blind is the only one else that would be really helpful here, because it would decrease his damage and increase our damage. I guess if you could get slow on him, that would be nice. We'll get Null Frost. Try another couple blinds. You can do that with the Wizard Staff. But I mean, the longer you keep him... oh, there, now he's blind as well. Dang. That's pretty good. I guess at this point we could start buffing up Beret so that he can attack. We could try to get a slow off. We're just tearing these guys. I think we got slow there too. So if he's slowed and blinded, his physical attacks are not terribly likely to be a big problem. We're going to have two characters pretty much buffed up for offense very quickly anyway. We've got tons of HP. No, I think we've got this one in the bag unless he's got some crazy trick. You know, Victus on his own is doing so much damage. And the boss seems to be relatively permanently status locked. It's stun locked. That's what it feels like to be stun locked. Well, like I said, I almost feel bad hitting bosses with status effects. Like, it's just desserts, of course. And we got the Ragnerok, so we got a better weapon. And the hero shield. Yeah, well, it's time. Okay, so the Ragnerok. Yeah, that's where we make a significant leap in damage output. Of course, you have to defeat one of the strongest enemies in the game, but that's certainly an upgrade. I believe the Ragnerok... I think it was the Ragnerok that cast Nuke when you used it in combat. The Lightbringer might have been Holy in the original, but I forget. Anyway, I mean, I don't think you could compare 30 swing of damage. And then the Hero Shield is perfect status protection. All elements and ailments. So, if you can equip it, it's the best equipment in the game. So, of course, you should have the Hero Shield. And then it doesn't really matter what he wears for his other slots. It's just whatever gives him the best stats. Like the Crystal Helm has better defense and evasion, so okay. And I don't have any other gloves. And then that way I can hand me down some Genji Gear, although technically lower stats, technically, but we're going to upgrade Jade to full Genji. Yeah, that's the plan. So that's it. Water Dungeon done. Let's go back. I mean, the episode's super long, but I'm going to go back to the caravan because I'm going to end the episode sort of with what I was talking about. Also, I should check out Ragnerok, see if it does anything fun. Something. What do we get out of Ragnerok? Fire 2? Pretty sure that's just Fire 2. Fire 3 is way more impressive. That's a pretty weak spell to put on, like, end game. Like, it used to be Nuke for a reason. It's fine. I know they nerfed those. I just feel like it could be Fire 3 at least. You know, Fire 3's not that good. You can just use that. But yeah, now Victus is doing some pretty insanely high damage, even more insane. So yeah, I've got... I think, isn't there somewhere that they sell Genji, or not Genji, crystal stuff? So the question is, what do I want equipped on his body? Do I want that mirror plate? Is 3 defense worth almost 30 evasion? No, it's not. Buy another Genji Armor, because we're going to want another one for... Oh, I don't have enough money. Right. That's the other problem. Running out of money. So I don't need a 2 spare Lightbringers. I don't think I'm gonna need this Braveheart anymore. Probably. Geez, there's so much stuff. I don't want to sell something that I need. I have an extra one of these. Ashura was garbage. I got light robes for days. I can't even equip them. Like, I got 1 equipped. That's the most we can equip. This stuff's all junk. Zephyr Cape is just junk. Aegis Shields. I don't think we need 3. Probably lots. We got another Excalibur when we killed, what's his name? Gilgamesh, so it's not really valuable anymore. I don't think we need the Deathbringer either. It casts like Pain or something. It's just... The ones that cast spells that don't matter are just no big deal. Okay, so now we've got enough money. We can buy our second Genji Armor, because they seem to be probably the best stat-wise defense. Like, good evasion, good physical defense, and just bonus stats. And then if we go Genji Helmet, and... I'm pretty sure we need Genji Gloves there as well, which we can buy here. Now, if I'm able to buy Crystal Gloves, I would actually wear those on, what's his name? Victus. But that's a pretty good set, I feel like. So that should be full status protection again, or as protected as you can, with much better defense than we used to have, although less evasion. But also, I think some of those give some bonus stats that the other gear did not. I don't think there's much else we can do with Beret, unfortunately. I need that elemental protection, and the only other way to get it is... Well, there's no other way for him to get it, basically, period. That. I could get an Angel Ring for Jade. I still have that on the table, but... Alright, I just want to check, because next episode we're going to start the last bonus dungeon, basically. There's not much else to do. I just want to check a couple weapon shops, because now we're really at the end of the game. If there's anything you want to buy, now's the time. So there is a healing helm. Did I talk about that? I don't think I wrote down the stats because it's not good enough. Like, it has more defense than ribbons, but that doesn't mean it's worth equipping. So that's not quite high enough tier. And we can buy Giant's Gloves. So if I wanted to equip one, we could buy a spare to use... I'll buy a spare anyway. This way, Victus and somebody else could buff up at the same time. Not like it matters. It'd be nice if I could find somewhere that sold Protect Cloaks, actually, because that's something that I was thinking about putting on Melior for his whole protection party. Now, technically, there is a shop in the next bonus dungeon that will probably have more rare items, so going into the next dungeon with money is probably a good idea. Oh, here it is, crystal stuff. So, you can buy Protect Rings. Buy diamond. You can buy a crystal ring. I was wondering where we'd find one of these. So this one would be for the sage instead of the angel. This would give him death and stone protection, but he'd lose his regeneration. Regeneration's pretty good. Crystal helm. Crystal shields. Crystal mail. We can buy a full set of crystal other than... Yeah, I think I talked about that. This is the part that I think... that Beret needs to be able to equip. It's weird. I don't know why he can't. His best gloves is diamond gloves, and it's pretty bad. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, I've got that. I have a spare set of crystal, except for the helm. Can I buy a helm? I've got one equipped already. That's right, because it has better stats than the Genji helm, right? Sorry, just I got confused for a second. Yeah, the Crystal Helm has better stats than the Genji Helm, so we leave that there. And then you can't equip it anyway. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could go Crystal Shield, Crystal Helm, Crystal Mail. Let me just pull up what'll that give us protection from, because if that's everything, and then Diamond adds Lightning, that would work. So the Crystal Helm is Fire, Ice, Lightning. Okay, so we've already got Fire, Ice, Lightning. That's the good stuff for the helmet. The armor is Mind, Silence, and Blind. And then the shield... Where's my shield? Did I not write it down? No, Crystal Shield is Poison and Death. So Mind, Silence, Blind, Poison, and Death. We're missing, like, Dark and Paralyze and Time. The ribbon protects against all of that. But we still have Fire, Ice, and Lightning covered. So the difference is, would you trade... So 76 defense. Would you trade 20 defense for missing a few statuses? Not the damage statuses. Well, maybe. Depends on if Quake... Because I don't think Crystal gives us Quake protection or Poison protection. No. Sorry, the Crystal Shield has Poison protection. We have Mind, Silence, Blind, Poison, Death. And then the elements. We're missing Quake and Time, Paralyze. Yeah, I still think probably the ribbon is better. It's a hard sell, guys. It's a hard sell. If he could equip the Hero Shield, that'd be great. But, I mean, 20 defense is 20 defense. You know what we could do in that situation, actually, is switch them. Because Jade has almost the same defense as Victus. All the status protections. And Beret actually is the weaker defensive character at this point. In fact, Jade has more HP, even. Yeah, unfortunately, Beret is starting to sort of fall down the rankings as we get into the late game. But that's okay. He helped out more early on, hopefully. Maybe, did he? I don't know. I don't remember. I definitely want more Giants top. Well, I think 60 will be enough. I'll round it out so it's a nice 70. I didn't even use my drinks, because it turns out you just paralyze the boss and you win. And I guess I'll probably do a little bit of shopping between episodes. I'll definitely want to max out my high potions and ethers again. And then next episode we'll come back and I will head on down into the Wind bonus dungeon. The final bonus dungeon, and it's the long one. It's 40 floors, so that's going to take a little while. Might be a couple episodes. Anyway, I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed. And of course, have a great day.